What is going on, my beautiful people? Welcome to yet again another episode of the Pivot Mindset Podcast. My name is Justin. I'm your host, and welcome. We have just got our year up under us, right? I guess we no longer are newbies. I feel a little bit experienced in the game. I feel a little experienced with this podcasting thing, but. Welcome to another episode, man. We're going to be talking about something super special in this episode. And I think something that's incredibly important. Before we dive into the topic, though, I want to first drop a plug for Entrepreneur 0 to 100. You might be asking, what is Entrepreneur 0 to 100? Well, glad you asked. Entrepreneur 0 to 100 is a community. I would consider it the number one community for entrepreneurs that are on their journey to building their first or their next six-figure business. What it is it's a community that's dedicated to empowering you and helping you not only get the strategy, but to also get the implementation and the step-by-steps on what you should be doing to grow your six-figure business. There's so many businesses and entrepreneurs out there that just really are winging it, and they don't have the necessary steps to truly take things to the next level. They're Googling things, and they're asking their friends, and they're asking their cousins, but they don't really know what's necessary to truly grow a six-figure business. So why don't you connect? Why don't you tap into a world of other entrepreneurs that are on the journey or have already built a six-figure business? So we meet every single week, every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we talk about various topics. The month of October, which is when this podcast has been recorded, we are talking about how to get your money right. So we're diving into personal finances, business credit. We're talking about money mindset. We're also going to be having an accountant on to be able to discuss with you tax strategies and really how to make sure that you keep the IRS and you keep as much money as possible. So if you want to tap in, visit our website at www.pivotbizz.com/EZ100. Again, that's pivotbiz.com/EZ100. All right, let's get into the topic. So as always, like, share, comment, give us some love. You know how we do. So feel free to share this with your friends, please. But let's get into the topic. So today, and this episode might go a little bit longer. I'm not sure. We'll see. Because it demands that. So we're going to be talking about money mindset, right? And truly how to get your money right. Like that's really the topic of the podcast today is how to get your money right. And one thing that I noticed in my life and part of the transformation that I've had to make in my life was that my mindset around money was the most important factor on why I didn't have a ton of it. My mindset around the money, not that I didn't have strategy, not that I didn't have a great business idea, not that I wasn't good at savings, not that I wasn't, good at, staying and living below my means. None of that was the reason why I experienced some of the struggles that I did financially. The reason why I experienced financial struggles was because my mindset around money was wrong. It was flawed. And so not having money truly is very expensive, right? When you don't have money, everything costs more. The less money you have, the more expensive everything is. Why? Because you are risky, right? If you want to buy a car, that costs more for you. If you want a mortgage, that costs more for you. If you have credit cards, those interest rates are going to be more for you. Your water bill, your light bill, your electric bill, they're going to deposit you to death. If you try to get a cell phone, they're going to ask you for a significant deposit if they approve you. Like when your money ain't right, when you're broke and when you don't have resources and you don't have means, life is actually more expensive for you, right? It's you would think that life would be more expensive for the people that actually have more money, but that's not the case at all. Life is more expensive for the people that have the least amount of money. And so today, you are going to attack every limiting belief, if you have one, around money. And I won't say if. I know you have a limiting belief around money. I think everyone has some kind of limiting belief around money if they have an ideal state that they'd like to get to, but they haven't yet gotten there. And so at what point did you begin to settle in life is the question I've got for you. What point did you begin to settle about your finances and about your money? I know when I was young growing up, I wanted to be rich. I still want to be rich, but, life, and I thought of it with great optimism. And, I seen people being successful and I'm like, man, I can't wait to be that. It wasn't if, it's like, I can't wait to be that. And so I got a question for you. Like, at what point have you settled around your finances, around your dreams, around your goals for money? Do you still have the big dreams that you did as a kid? Do you still, no matter where your financial situation is right now, Do you still have intentionality? Do you still look with the big picture? Do you still look with the dream? Or do you still like have that desire? Right. And what's really important, something that's imperative to think through, is that if your mindset isn't good around money, it's not because you grew, like it wasn't because you decided that it wasn't going to be good around money. If your mindset is not good around money, 9 times out of 10 that you experienced in money mindset was improperly placed on you, and things about your money you learned through through growing up, you learned through your parents, you learned through your family, you learned through what you've seen with your own eyes, what you heard with your own ears. And so I want to talk about some of the money blocks, some of the biggest money blocks that I believe stop so many people from truly getting their money right. So let's dive with the first one. And there's 8 of them, so hang tight here. So the first one is that, and these are I think statements that are said in people's minds that truly stop them. So if you had to identify with any of these, please take it serious, y'all, and like be intentional about making sure that these things don't hold you back anymore. So the first one, let's dive into the first one. One is that here's a money block. Making money has to be hard, and it has to take me a long time. You may have a money block, and that money block may say that making money has to be hard and it has to take you a long time to make it. I grew up around people that made money very hard. Like they worked very hard to make money. You know, they worked outside with their hands. They worked in factories, and they worked 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and they came home tired, and, you know, they looked beat up. They looked like they just, you know, sacrificed so much to do their job and to make, you know, ends meet. And they worked all that hard and to barely have enough. And so I grew up with this concept and with this thought process that making money had to be hard and that it had to take me a long amount of time, until I connected myself with a coach who said, actually, it's much easier. Shout out to Myron Golden. He said it's much easier to make a lot of money in a little bit of time than it is to make that same amount of money in a long period of time. It's much easier to make a lot of money in a little bit of time. And I, you know, once I changed my perspective and I changed my mind, I started to lean into that, and I started to see that it was in fact true, that it is much easier to make a lot of money in a little bit of time than it is to make a lot of money in a long period of time. So that's one of the money blocks, right? How do you feel that money is, and that you got to work hard for it, and that it got to take a long time? Let's get to number 2. Number 2 is that you think that money is made and not attracted. This is huge. If you think this way, you probably have a money block, and that is that you think that money is made and not attracted. I want to tell you that I too used to think that money was made, that I had to go exchange my time for dollars to go and make money. And that is a way of making money. You can exchange your time for dollars to make money. So that is a way to make money. But you're thinking, if you really want to get past some of the blocks that are holding you back, the true thinking should be that money is actually attracted, that you attract money based on the person that you are and not based on what you do. I repeat that again, man. I repeat that again. You attract money based on the person, based on the based on the you, the version of you that you are, and not based on what you do. If you change the if you change what you are, who you are, you will attract the level, you will change the level of money that starts to come into your world that you begin to attract. And so do you have a lifestyle where you actually become the person that you attract money, that you attract things around you, that you attract wealth? Man, I personally, know what it is to, and I've done these kinds of things in my life where I've made certain financial decisions because I wanted to attract more money in my life. If you want to attract more money, money has to be you have to use money as a tool. That's one of the first suggestions that I would give you, is that if you want to learn how to attract more money, money can't be this object that you use to just pay your bills with. Money is really a tool that you use to get more of it, and that you get more freedom, that you get more time, that you get more exposure, that you get more fun, that you get more, all the things that you really, the external things that you want in your life. You use money to get those things. And so money is made and not attracted. Here's the third one. This may be, if you got a money block, that money is evil and being rich makes me feel evil or deceptive or even manipulative. I'll go as far as to say even manipulative. I know people who, and I grew up, and this is a way that I seen going around me, is that anybody that had money, there was this belief that they were evil, or that they did it in a legal way, or they did it in a wrong way, or that they cheated the system, or they manipulated people to get that kind of money. And I believe that was a trick of the enemy to get people like me, and to get me to think that I had to be sleazy or wrong to actually get that level of success, to get that level of money. When the truth of it is that what the people that really were winning at a high level, they just found a way to solve problems at a higher level than the people that I was around and knew how to solve problems at. Right? So money is not evil, and being rich shouldn't make you feel evil or deceptive. Right? I want you to think for yourself. When you say like, man, I'm rich, how does it make you feel? Right? When you say I'm rich, does it actually feel kind of weird to you? Like, does it feel a little bit disgusting? Does it feel a little bit challenging to make that kind of statement? Like, I'm rich. You got to check your internals, got to check to see what's happening on the inside of you. All right, let's go to 4. Number 4 is that I cannot afford that. Oh my gosh. If you've made the statements, I cannot afford that. Oh my God. I'm praying for you. If the statements, I cannot afford that, has come out of your mouth, that's a mentality and that's a money block that we've got to tear down. Instead of saying, I cannot afford that, you've got to begin to ask yourself the question, how can I afford that? When you say, I cannot afford that, you completely destroy the creativity and really the vision that God can pour into you of learning how to actually afford that. Maybe you do want to live an opulent life, and maybe you do want a 10-bedroom, 10,000 plus square foot home in Beverly Hills. Like maybe you do want opulence. Maybe you do want, a $1 million car, or maybe you do want to live on thousands and thousands of acres, or maybe you do want to travel around the world and bring your family and everybody that you love and know with you. Maybe you do have big dreams and big goals. You cannot be thinking that I can't afford that. The problem is that so many people have started to use that terminology and it'll rub off on you. Instead of using that, the question you've got to ask yourself, if it's important enough, is how can I afford that? How can I afford that? What do I have to do? What problems do I have to solve? Who do I have to serve to afford that? It opens up your mind for creativity. It allows you to begin to solve problems. It now puts you in a space that you can start to look around the world and look internally for answers and start to ask questions to continue to evolve and learn. And now, because you're asking how can I afford that, you're starting to develop yourself. You're starting to invest in yourself. You're starting to go to masterminds, and you're taking courses, and you're getting your credit right, and you're paying your debt off, and you're starting to put pieces and parts together, because now you're trying to figure out, how can I afford that? You haven't cut off your brain from the possibility, because you stop saying I can't and you start saying how can. You've got to be able to replace the I can't with the how can. All right. So let's go to number 5. Here's a big one, is not forgiving yourself for the money mistakes you've made in the past. Woo! You have to forgive yourself from the money mistakes that you've made in the past. Family, I give you full permission right now to forgive yourself of all of the egregious, crazy, stupid, absurd, just ridiculous decisions that you've made around money in the past. Forgive yourself. I believe one of the biggest blocks that we have is if we haven't forgiven ourselves from the mistakes that we made in the past. You haven't given yourself enough grace to move forward. You haven't given yourself the permission to get back on that horse again, to get back in the fight. You've just wrote yourself off because you just determined that you weren't good with money, and you kept telling yourself that based on the one time or the couple of times that you had in the past when you made poor money decisions. You've let in a single instance 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, create and write the narrative that you weren't good with money. I bring down that stronghold right now that you can be phenomenal with money, and you've got to forgive yourself around the mistakes that you've made with money. You are not that person. You are not the person that made the mistake 3 years ago. You are not the person that made the mistake 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You can make the decision today to live and think a completely different life around money and how you use, invest, and leverage your finances and your money. It's time for you to get to the level that you want to be, and you got to make the pivot in your mind first. But first, you got to forgive yourself. All right? Forgive yourself for the money mistakes that you've made. Let's get to the sixth one. Here's a mentality and a money block that says wealth or getting rich is for people and not you. You've just come to grips with that. I won't. That's for other people. That getting rich and living an opulent life, that's for somebody else. You've come to grips with the fact that I'm just supposed to live this kind of life. I've seen, based on the failures that I've had, and I'm not smart enough, or I'm not intelligent enough, or I'm not handsome enough, or I'm not cute enough, or I'm not beautiful enough, or I'm not tall enough, or I'm not skinny enough. Like you've made these decisions that says that money and getting wealthy is for somebody else and not you. Can I tell you that wealth is your birthright? Like, can I tell you that you were placed on earth with the ability to create, and out of the ability that God put on the inside of you to create, that ability and that creation, the Creator created you to create, that it's with that handprint and that identity that you can place something from your head and get it in your hand. And once it's in your hand, you could use that thing to be able to create value in the marketplace and exchange your solution for other people's problems. And if you've got a big enough solution, you can have big enough money to be able to exchange for that problem. And so you have an ability to be all that you want to be. Like if God placed that desire on the inside of you, he's actually giving you that desire. And so don't think that if you're thinking, and if you're listening to this episode, I have no doubt that God has already placed a desire on you to be wealthy. Like you wouldn't look at the title of this episode and click on it if it wasn't something that was compelling to you. Getting rich and being wealthy isn't for other people. And as long as you think that, it'll always be for the other people. It'll always be for somebody else. And you'll never internalize it, and you'll never place your identity on getting rich. It'll always be for somebody else. But how about being rich is for you? Right? How about it's actually for you? How about it's not, maybe you aren't inspired for yourself, but maybe it's your children. Maybe here's the case. Maybe you have made getting rich a luxury and not a necessity. Listen, maybe you're someone out there and you've made getting to financial freedom a level of like a want and not a need. Your kids deserve to not hear you say out of your mouth, we can't afford that. I don't want my kids to ever hear daddy say, kids, Zane, Zara, I'm sorry, but we can't afford that. That's not a statement that I even want running around my household. We can always afford whatever it is that we want because we're smart enough, and God has placed wisdom, clarity, insight, favor, and resources around us to be able to accomplish whatever it is we want to accomplish. And so wealth is for you. Wealth is for me. Wealth is for us. You've got the ability. And so I want my kids I don't want my kids not to be in the best schools. Why if my kid's sick why can't they go to the best doctors? Why if my son isn't having some mental challenge, he can't go to the best psychiatrists or the best counselors or the best mindset folks? Like why do I have to limit my children's abilities to have their problem solved based on my inability to think with intentionality and think with the level of faith that God is calling me to think at? You can get rich. And maybe personally, you might not be inspired to do it for yourself, but maybe you need to do it for your children, right? My kids deserve to be in the best of the best. Like they deserve to know what it is to win at the highest levels possible. They deserve to know what vacation feels like. They deserve to know what trips and traveling feels like. And they deserve to know what it is to get out of the country. And they deserve to know what the best schools look like and they feel like and they smell like. They deserve to know what the best clothes feel like. Like what does the thread count feel like? They deserve to know all of these things. I don't want to limit the ability and help back my children from not experiencing the best. If I'm a good father, I want nothing more than my children to get the best. And if I know that comes by me, that God has called me to do that and to be that for my children, I got to be it. Okay? So getting wealthy or getting rich isn't for other people, but it's for you. You got to break that money block. If that's for you, you got to get clear of that. You got to get free of that. Here's number 7. I've got to make money before I invest. This is a huge money block. I've got to make money. Some people think that you've actually got to make money before you begin to invest. That you've got to make more to invest more. And what I tell you is that if that's you, then that's a money block. Like you can't be thinking at that level. You have to be the person that is willing to invest before you got it. Like, not spend it, but I'm talking about investment. I'm talking about placing seed in the ground. I'm talking about sacrificial seeds. You've got to be the person willing to invest your finances, investing your resources before it comes. You've got to be like Noah and willing to build the ark before the rain comes. You've got to be willing to invest in yourself before you see the fruit of the labor yet. And I think something that holds so many people back is they only want to invest when they finally see a return. And they don't actually take the risk to literally take their life to the next level, because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And this is risky. Like I'm not down talking or downplaying the fear or the risk that you may have with being able to invest at a higher level before you've made more. Right? Can you maybe your income has stayed flat, or maybe you're losing money. Maybe you don't make as much money as you used to make. But what if you start investing more than you've ever had before? What if you invest more in yourself than you've ever had before in this year? We're in the last quarter of 2022. What if you just made it your decision and made up your mind that I'm going to invest more this year, the rest of this last quarter, than I've had in any other quarter of my life? I can guarantee you that your life would change in some supernatural way. Why? Because you've started to run into the principle that you reap what you sow. And some of you aren't reaping enough because you're not sowing enough. You reap what you sow. You reap what you get in return. Your harvest is based on the seed, not the other way around. And so if you're struggling with the harvest, if you're struggling with the abundance, if you're struggling with what you're getting back, you have to check, what am I actually putting in? And so don't be the kind of person that says, I got to make money before I invest. I got to make more before I give more. Be the kind of person that says, I'm actually going to give at the level in which I want to receive back. Let's go. Be the kind of person that says, I'm going to give at the level that I want to receive. If I want to be a millionaire, I got to think, what kind of investments do millionaires make? What kind of sacrifices, what kind of things do millionaires make? How much do millionaires tithe at their churches? How much do millionaires give to nonprofits and to charities? How much do millionaires put aside or invest in the stock market, invest in real estate, or invest in their IRA? Like, how much money, let's look at the millionaire stock portfolio. What do they do? How are they leveraging their money? And I could tell you that if you go back and look, you'll find that they invest first. We invest first. We give first, knowing that everything else is just a response from what we've already given, right? And so don't be the kind of person that you have to make more money before you invest money. And here's the thing that I want to shed some truth here, is that most people actually know how to do this, but they do this for stuff that's not good for them. Most people know how to do this during Christmas, right? Most people will pull out a credit card and buy all the gifts to see their children smile on that precious day of Christmas, that Christmas morning, and they'll go in debt for that. Most people will go in debt to buy the latest car, or to buy the fanciest phone or the newest phone. Like most people will go in debt for the consumer stuff, like the consumables, the stuff that actually don't add any value net worth wise long term to your life. Like it's culturally, it's actually normal to do that. It's culturally normal to invest into, to spend your money before you see anything in return. I'm gonna buy all this stuff for my kids. I'm actually gonna start early, right? People start Black Friday shopping. They start the day after Thanksgiving. They start before Thanksgiving buying gifts for what's not gonna happen for another month or so, right? You're buying gifts. You're standing in line on Black Friday because what you're anticipating, the smile that you're gonna see on your kids on Christmas morning. You're so proactive with spending, but you so reactive to investing. You so on it about spending your money, but you so negligent, and you're so lackadaisical when it comes to investing your money and really spending it at the level that you should be. All right, I'm a pipe down. All right, I'm a pipe down. That just got me fired up a little bit. I'm a pipe down, okay? And so I'm not sure, but did you guys know that there are such thing as money disorders? Money disorders also could be something that you're challenged with right now. Like some of the blocks that you have financially, it might not just be because what you've seen and how you were raised, but you might have a disorder. It's totally possible that you have a disorder. Let's dive into a couple of them. So there's something that's called the Prince Charming syndrome. And people with the Prince Charming syndrome, they have a need to wait on an outside source of financial income to come to save their financial debt, such as lottery, government assistance, or family inheritance. And people who depend on others or seek for others to depend on their income to survive, more than likely, they have what we called Prince Charming syndrome, right? Are you waiting on the lottery to finally get successful? Like, are you like, man, if I could just hit the lottery, then my life will be different, right? If I could just, my grandmother could just finally pass away so I could finally get the inheritance, right? Like if my family member could finally die so I could get some money. Like if that's you have what's titled as Prince Charming syndrome, right? You're waiting on the lottery. You're waiting for someone, when it really boiled down to it, you're waiting on someone to solve your problem. You're waiting on someone to save you, right? And I just want to let you know that ain't nobody coming to save you, boo. You've got to save yourself. You've got to make the decision that I'm done being where I'm at. I'm done being stuck where I'm at, right? So let's get to another one. There is addictive gambling. A lot of people know about this one. This is a money disorder, right? It's the urge to gamble continuously despite harm and negative consequences, or a desire to stop. Maybe you've got a gambling issue. Maybe your wealth is being spent and literally you got a hole in your boat because you've got a gambling issue. What about financial infidelity? This was a huge one. When I discovered this one, I was like, wow, I didn't even know that there was a functional term for this, or if we could calculate it as a disorder. But here's this one. It says that the tendency to be omissive or keep secrets about financial spendings by possessing credit cards and creating secret accounts or assets, borrowing money and accruing debt without their spouse or significant other being aware of their spending. Woo, that one's heavy. Are you a financial infidel? Right? Are you somebody out there, you spend money, you got all this separate side money that your spouse don't know about and that your husband and your wife don't know about, right? And you're borrowing money, you got all these loans going on and you're investing in all, like, are you a financial infidel, right? That's considered a money problem, right? That's considered a money disorder, right? It's not being truthful around your finances, around your spending. And let's talk about compulsive spending. So that's another one. That's considered another money disorder. It could take the form of accumulation of a large amount of consumer debt, continuous spending despite resolutions to stop. It's a hiding of purchases from loved ones, or here's the big one, being more excited about making the purchase than owning the item. Are you more excited about making the purchase than owning the item? Like once you get the item home, you're like, it's not as nice as it looked in the store, right? Like once you open the box, it's like, it's not. I don't like it as much as I did when I seen it in the store, right? Compulsive spending. You just have this accumulation and a large amount of consumer debt. If you take anything from me, that is to significantly reduce your consumer debt. I don't think that all debt is bad. I think debt that you take to invest is not bad debt. I think bad debt is debt that doesn't add any value to your net worth or any value to your likelihood to make more and get a larger net worth. Consumer debt is a hole in the boat. It's the thing that if you continue to rack up tons of consumer debt, you'll find that it will rob you from all of the harvest that you've been working so hard to gain. Be careful around consumer debt. Stop spending so much money on the credit card. Stop racking up and buying. Like, can you simplify your lifestyle and not be so spendy? Can you reduce the quality of, you got to have always a new outfit. You've always got to have the new fun, shiny thing. Like, you've got to be careful. You've got to budget properly. You've got to intentionally. Like, here's the thing. This is what I've had to do for myself. to reduce my desire to do compulsive spending is if you invest all your money up front, you have nothing left to spend, right? So the best thing that you could do is get the money out of your account and hurry up and get your money into some investment. I'm not saying just invest in any random thing as quick as you can, but once you make a decision that you're going to make an investment or that you're going to invest at a high level, just make it easy to make that investment. Have that money come out of your bank account as soon as you get paid. As soon as you get paid, that money needs to leave your account and go into the investment. And there has to be a level of accountability and a level of friction for you to access that money, right? You shouldn't have a debit card for that for your investment account, right? Like you've got to put boundaries and things in place to limit your spending habits and your spending abilities. All right. So here's a journal prompt that I'm going to give you. If you're sitting down, like I said, this one's going to be a little longer today, but we're going to push the limit because I think this is such an important topic. All right. So let's turn the knob a little bit. So I'm going to give you a couple journaling questions. If you're out there and you want to begin to develop and get better around your money mindset, here's a couple questions that I want you to journal about and ask yourself these questions and be as honest and as transparent as you possibly can as you're journaling about these questions. So here's the first one. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is my relationship with money like? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute best, it can't get any better, and 1 being who is money? I don't even know who that is, right? What is your relationship with money like? 2, why did you rate your score this way? Why did you give yourself that number? Number 3, if money was a person, how would you define your relationship with him or her? Is this a healthy relationship? Is this relationship one-sided? Is this a toxic relationship? Like if money was a person, let's call money Adam, let's call money Joe, let's call money Pete, whatever you want to call it. If money was a person, how would you define your relationship with him or her? And then here's the last one, number 4. How could your life look different if you had a different relationship with money? What could you accomplish? What could you invest? Where could your life be? Who could now benefit from it? How will your children's children, how could you create legacy? How could it look different if you had a different relationship with money? All right, so that's the 4 questions. I want you to journal on those 4 questions. As always, if you'd like to tag me on Instagram, tag me at _Justin Carter on Instagram if you want to post it or if you want to talk about it, or if you want to send them to me. I'd love to even get some responses. If you'd like to send these answers to these questions to me, you could send it to my email at Justin at Justin at pivotmecoach.com, JUSTIN at pivot, PIVOTMECOACH.com. And that's my email address. That's where you can reach me, and you can send all your responses to that. All right. All right, cool. So let's land the plane. I want to just talk about one more thing, right? So let's talk about really quick money attraction. So we've talked about the money blocks. We've talked about some of the challenges around your mindset around money and how it may have not been healthy, that if you're not where you want to be financially, it's probably because you're not doing and you don't have the right mindset around money, right? And so I know to get rich, you got to be okay with the idea of actually getting rich, right? You know, listen to your body. How does your body feel when you say, I'm rich? I've got all the money that I've ever wanted in my life. How does that actually feel? There are people who believe that they are poor because rich people are rich. Did you know that? Like there's people out there that they think that if there are rich people out there, that the only reason that the people are rich is because they did it on the back of poor people, right? The question that I asked you earlier, right, is why can't your kids have the best stuff? Why can't your kids have the best doctors, the best food, the best nutrition plans, the best workout plans, right? Experience the finer things in life. Well, my kids have to hear the dreadful words, we, quote unquote, can't afford that, right? And so after today, I really believe that you're going to begin to attract money at a new level, all right? So let's talk about, really quick, a concept of really how to get paid and how to get paid at the right level. And so we get paid in life in direct proportion of our resourcefulness, okay? And so the purpose of life really is kind of deduced into three things, right? When someone says they don't know their purpose, what they're actually saying is, I don't know whose problems I've been sent on earth to solve. That's really what they're saying. When someone says, man, I'm not sure of my purpose, what they're really saying is, I don't know whose life and whose problems I was placed on earth to solve. Everyone was placed on earth to solve a problem. You would not exist if there was not a problem that you were set on earth to solve. And so the faster and the quickest way that you can get to solving that problem, the fastest and quickest way that you can get to purpose, and the easier that money will come with it. Because if seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all the other things will be added onto you. The faster you can get to purpose, the faster all the other things that you want and that you desire will be added onto you. And so one, you've got to find a solution for the problems that you're placed on earth to solve. So have you ever heard the term when people say, that's not my problem? Right? You ever heard people say that? It is your problem. Maybe it's not but it's somebody's problem. Everybody's problem is somebody's problem. Everybody's problem on earth is somebody's problem, okay? And so we gotta get you solving problems. And this is how you start attracting money. You gotta attract money based on the problems that you solve. That's how you begin to attract money. Most people, they go to work, they go to work, they go to work, they go to work 10 times, and then they get paid once. Most people, they go to work 10 times. They go to work 10 days, and they get paid one of those days at the end. Here's what rich people do, and this is how you can continue to attract money, especially if you've got problems that you're solving on higher levels, is rich people go to work, and then they get paid 10 times. And then they go to work again, and then they get paid 10 more times, right? They go to work again, and they get paid 30 times. They get paid 100 times. They get paid 1,000,000 times, right? It's how can you create something that you can work for once and get paid for multiple times? You've got to leverage and scale your ability to get paid. You've got to know that to really attract money, you've got to learn how to make money on a daily basis. Every time you flip your light switch, every time you crank up your car, every time you open up that refrigerator, you are spending money. You spend money every single day. And why do you think that you could spend money every single day and you can only get paid once a month or once every 2 weeks? The math ain't mathing, right? The math got a math. You can't spend money once a month, or you can't make money once a month or twice a month, but spend it 30 days a month. The math ain't mathing, all right? So here's two. You got to get connected with someone. You got to connect with someone whose problems that you solve, right? All the money, here's a big piece. All the money that you desire is in someone else's pocket. It's in someone else's bank account. All the money that you desire is in someone else. Someone has your money. And the faster that you learn who's got your money, the faster you will build the path of getting to the financial opulence that you desire. Somebody's got your money. And then you got to find a way to contribute. You've got to find a way to give. You've got to find a way to serve, right? So if you can find a problem, find the person whose problem that is, and then contribute in some kind of way, you will be rich. That's the simplest way to break it down, right? If you got your money right, if you got your mindset right. All right, so here's the plain thing I want to land with. If you are broken busy, I started off kind of tough, huh? You cannot be broken busy. I talk to so many people. I'm a coach. I work with entrepreneurs. I work with people in their mindset. I help people get their money right, help people level up. And if you're broke, you've got to look at, why are you so busy? Because if you're busy being broke, you won't actually have the time to be busy getting rich, busy getting wealthy. So you can be broke, but don't be busy, right? Like you could be broke without being busy. So why are you broke and busy? You can't be both. If you spend too much time being average and living the broke life, you won't actually have the time to actually get rich. You got to know that you can't be so busy and broke. If you're broke, you should have the most freedom and flexibility than anybody that I know. But I talk to the most people that are struggling financially, and they always got something going on. They busier than I am. And I'm like, yo, that's why you can't get ahead, because you so busy doing broke people stuff. Don't be so busy doing broke people stuff that you can't create enough margin to do rich people stuff. Simple as that. Rich people stuff looks like learning, looks like personal development, looks like taking courses and joining groups and communities of other people that are winning. It looks like, developing yourself, spending enough time in personal development. That's rich people stuff. Rich people stuff is giving back. Rich people stuff is winning at new levels, not a higher level, right? And so I just want to land the plane with that is you cannot be broke and busy. And so if you want to truly start to implement the stuff that we talked about in this episode, you've got to be intentional, absolutely intentional about getting some margin, getting some free time to be able to take your life to the next level. I don't care what you have to stop, what you have to pull your life. You've got to change your routine. You've got to change your entire routine. The stuff that you're doing now won't get you where you want to go because it hasn't. And if it hasn't yet, it won't. All right. And so that is what I've got on money mindset and how to get your money right. How to get your money right. We're heading into the we're in the fourth quarter, right? No better time than to get your money right than now. When you got all these financial pressures, you got holidays coming up and you got gifts and you got travel and you got family members and you got all this stuff. There's no better time to get your mindset around money tight and locked down because we're getting ready to head into this place where most people blow the bag that they work so hard to gain. Throughout the year, they blow it in these next couple of months. I want to make sure that you're not one of those people and that you live a life intentionally on getting rich, getting wealthy, and building opulence. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you again for checking out the Pivot Mindset Podcast, where we believe that life is all about the pivot, and those who decide to make the pivots decide to become successful.